Is it time to finally activate the assistant manager, arguably one of the more powerful chips? Or are people just getting checked out already? For the last Saturday deadline of the season, welcome to a deadline stream edition of the FPL Addicts Podcast. Let's do it. A nice and simplified introduction, but in terms of what transfers to make, well, some say it's complicated. Yet again, welcome to another edition of the FPL Addicts Podcast. This being Gameweek 36. No more blanks or doubles for the rest of the season, but nonetheless, some fantasy managers with chips left have got troubles of their own. As per usual, it's time to introduce the usual regulars. Of course, there's myself in his sort of life out. And of course, FPL Reidy, hello and good afternoon to you. Beautiful Saturday.
Yeah, good afternoon, Chaza. What an absolute cracker, mate. It's scorching over this way up north. I know you're a bit further down south, mate. But yeah, got a beer going. And obviously got a few decisions to make in regards to FPL. Yeah, mate, so good. How are you?
Mate, I'm all right, thank you. Just a bit shattered. Sorry, the sun's come out a little bit, but I wanted to bring a bit more bright light into the stream. Yeah, good. 106k bike ride, and then I got off a FaceTime call off a high school friend who I've not spoken to since we graduated well over 5 years ago. So it felt like it was a really nice homecoming earlier. Had the footy on in the background, that being Aussie rules, not other actual English football. Oh. And then straight onto Crackadaka here.
Wow. Busy man, mate. When does it stop?
It never does.
There we go, mate. There we go. But yeah, I mean, speaking of not stopping, I know you've got a nice little caption I've noticed there saying "time to ass man to the end," which could mean so many things, really. But obviously, we know what it means in regards to FPL. How I guess we can look at, before we go on to any of that, we can look at maybe how we got on in the Gameweek 35, right?
Straight onto it. As well, on my broadcast screen, you're left-hand man, but the saying sometimes goes as a right-hand man. So all didn't score too badly because it's us two. I'll just crack on to mine. 51 points. Highlighted early on. It was a great arrow, in fairness, at the end, which was pleasing to see. Doesn't occur all that often this campaign. Double City clean sheet. Arsenal being toilet as per usual. Goals from Eze and Bowen, and a captaincy flop with an Mbumo assist in a 4-3 victory. And Cunha, on the bench. I wasn't too sure about that decision. I was expecting more from Arsenal.
Yeah. I think Arsenal definitely found themselves in a bit of a tricky situation with that Champions League game either side, and I think that definitely showed. And I think, obviously, Bournemouth have pulled off some big results this season, and there we go. Evan Nielsen with maybe a bit of luck on that side, because obviously VAR was involved. Was it handball? Was it not? They couldn't really tell, so therefore they had to give the goal. How did you feel as an Arsenal fan in that respect? Was that maybe not the best result? Going into that Champions League semi-final, you needed really probably a win to carry that energy into the. Or do you not think that really kind of mattered in that respect?
More so the latter. I just believe that it's been very disappointing seeing Mikel Arteta, in retrospect, throw away the competitions that he was once in. Put all his eggs in the Champions League basket, and even that didn't work out. He threw away the league. And I believe that result on Saturday epitomised that Arsenal are checked out for the season.
Yeah. I mean, you guys had a real good go and tried everything to score, but we found, most teams that have done that this season against PSG have just struggled and come out second best. So there's no denying you definitely did give it a go. And it's just one of them. Sometimes it's just not your day. But yeah, checked out certainly. I mean, in terms of your FPL team, you did better than me, that's for sure. You checked out maybe on the captain. I'm quite surprised actually. You didn't fancy Bowen or Eze as a bit of an outside sort of? I know Watkins was an outside kind of punt, but did you not fancy Bowen or Eze?
Well, Bowen, I don't think he was really in the frame, but he proved me on in that instance. I think an X1 in line would have been Salah, and even he still blanked. And Liverpool are in beach mode now. So simple as that. Before we crack on to your side next, Reidy, I've got to say, as per usual, probably one of our big things about this channel is saying hello to the community. So I want to go back to a comment that was said on Thursday, and Gary was already prepared that he's just 4 steps ahead of us, let's face it, especially without preparation last minute. Miriam, as always, thank you so much for joining in. Appreciate your support. Cortex, thank you for dropping by. It means the world to us, especially for people who like to procrastinate decisions. And, right, this is the high school friend I was mentioning. His name's Akol. So he's chimed in with a comment. I just shared him a link last minute. Chelsea's push for the top 4 right back are on a bit of a push. We'll get to that later. But Champions League spots are heating up, aren't they, really?
Yeah, certainly are. It's probably the most exciting thing in terms of the league and so on. With obviously the league won by Liverpool and relegation pretty much wrapped up. The Champions League spots is what we've kind of got to look forward to with these last few games. Chelsea in a good run of form. They've won the last 3. You've got Newcastle coming up, which is a massive, massive game for both teams. Both sit on 63 points with 3 games left. So yeah, I think Chelsea are looking really good at the minute. And I think both teams obviously want to win that game. It's a big game. Who do you think, or who do you see coming out on top, Chaza?
In terms of
Chelsea and Newcastle, mate. Champions League, the thing we've just been talking about.
Yeah. No, Newcastle, I think.
Okay.
Home. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, I think it'll be a close fight. I think draw. But someone maybe might sneak a win on that one.
Your side.
Yeah, my side, mate. My side. Well, God, what can I say? Just scroll up slightly, Chaza, just to see the actual points. 45 -8. I would say this is either I hated this game week most throughout the whole season, or it's up there with my top 3 by a mile, because I overthought so much last week. Like, basically, I brought in Bowen. I was captaining Bowen. I don't think I ever went off Bowen, so that was great. And that, if anything, that probably saved me. I still didn't get a green arrow, bear in mind. But the decision to bring in Mbeumo over De Bruyne is what kind of cost me in a way, because then after that decision, I couldn't go to any of the City players really. So I had to go somewhere else, and I decided to bring Watkins in for an extra -4 for Isak. So it wasn't great. 45, really frustrated in that sense. I could have ended up on like 58, nearly 60 if I'd have not done the Isak move. And not took the obviously extra -4, maybe even more so if I'd have done the De Bruyne move. But yeah, a game week to forget about for me. Everton clean sheet. What the hell's one of those? 2-2 against Leicester. Oh my God, I was absolutely spewing with that one, because I was hoping I'd get a cheeky double clean sheet, but it wasn't to be. So yeah, the only positives really, mate, was the Bowen captain. I'd probably say Guardiola, but everyone owned him. So that is literally it for me.
Yeah. Righto. Nice one, Reidy, especially Bowen captain. That's a fantastic shout from you. So well done on that front.
Cheers, mate.
Now, before we get to the public league, I like your rundown, Reidy, in terms of condensing everything. What's the best approach for the last 3 weeks of the season? Because I don't think it's a suitable time to pretty much bank transfers now. It's more attacking the fixtures. Would you agree to that sentiment?
I'd agree, but at the same time, what I would say, Chaz, is that the bigger risks you take, the harder it is to actually gain at this time of the season. You've got probably not enough time for your moves to pay off with the amount of games that we've got left. So, all good and well, maybe taking a hit here and there, but generally, it's such a sort of like short time period that we've got left that it'd have to be some amazing moves to kind of pull off some big point scores. So yeah, I agree in one sense in terms of fixtures maybe, but in another light, I do think that it's still really difficult and a bit of an uphill battle.
Yeah. Public League, super quick, and it is quite tight. Just 11-point gap up the top. Tom Stones is now, still got his lead. Steve Ward, Bill Stewart rounding up the top three. Bit of movement actually between 7th all the way down to, say, 15th. Someone had a really good week, getting some reasonable green arrows. Yeah. So that's Public League. Right.
I was going to say just before, very quickly, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, Chaza, hasn't Tom Stones been top for quite some time now?
He has now, yeah. It's quite.
I mean, it's close, like you just said. And, if he manages to somehow, dare I say the word, slip up right near the end of the season, I don't think he'll be a happy man because he's been right up there for a good while now. So fair play to him. But yeah, on to the next one, mate.
Right. Probably the biggest discussion point of the week is the upside in getting a striker in. Johan Wissa from Brentford, Chris Wood from Forest, Matthias Cunha from Wolves, or any other strikers. How have you dissected this talking point through the course of a week?
No, I think we've all seen that Wissa's a popular pick at the minute. When I say popular pick, he's actually not as highly owned as what people would think. He's been having a great season, 17 goals, good few assists, and I think he seems to be the most popular given that Brentford play Ipswich away this week. Chris Wood, obviously, very close in contention, having Leicester at home. So I think those two probably are top of the list. Now, there is another striker, costs quite a bit of money, though, in the game, that could be featuring today. Now, there's obviously going to be a bit of FOMO, people licking the lips on a Mr. Erling Haaland today if he's going to be starting. So, does that change the dynamics of your team? Are you going to have to take hits? Potentially, if you haven't got the transfers or the funds and so on. So we will obviously watch this space before deadline. We may well see that a few people get Haaland in if he's starting. But yeah, Wissa and Wood seem to be on the menu for sure for people.
Yeah, Haaland is the 5th most transferred in forward with Wissa, Wood, Cunha, Marmoush actually in front of him. But I possibly believe there is a bit of scope going Haaland because there seems that premiums, especially midfield, the talk from majority of the campaign, are tailed off a bit. Look, Mo Salah hasn't been in the form he was once in. Cole Palmer got his first goal in 13 league games last Sunday. Kevin De Bruyne is probably the best pick as of right now, but Bukayo Saka's just unfortunately fallen off a cliff since coming back from injury. Just has not been the same. So, yeah. But Haaland is coming off an injury, and he got injured last season.
Yeah. I think, certain players obviously have got big-ish injuries that have kept them out for a prolonged period. Saka, as you mentioned, Haaland. And it's made it, I don't know, I think it's made the game a little bit more refreshing as such, just because we have got more money to be able to spend. When we can afford pretty decent teams. But obviously, at this time of the season, like you said before, taking risks, going for different players, taking hits, things like that. People are more, averse to doing that. So, Haaland being back definitely raises a few questions on what moves people will fancy doing this week.
What else we also learned during the week is Arsenal are out of the Champions League, as mentioned earlier, but Chelsea are in the Conference League. Addressing the elephant in the room, especially from an Aussie standpoint, Spurs, United, Europa League final. How huge is that?
Big, very big for both clubs. Who'd have thought that we'd be saying, it's massive for United and I mean, obviously maybe for Spurs because they have won a trophy in a long time, similar to what Newcastle achieved this season. But it's big in respect to where they are in the league this season. Both having absolutely terrible Premier League seasons, both down in like 15th, 16th and so on. By their standards, not good enough. So bit of a lifeline for Postecoglou, bit of a lifeline for Amorim. There we go. He loves the book. It's getting burnt at the end of the season, though, Chaza. No, I'm joking. So it's massive for both clubs. I mean, because ultimately it's in the Champions League, and when you end up finishing that low in your normal domestic league, it's massive. It is massive. So come on, Spurs. That's that. I mean, as you can tell, obviously I'm a Liverpool fan, so I mean, you might be on the United camp, right? Being an Arsenal fan.
Only for the stocks of genuine Australian managers and how they can keep themselves in the top flight. That's the only aspect as for why I want Tottenham to win the Europa League final, and it's terrible coming from an Arsenal fan. I know, and I wouldn't mind Ange winning something. That's all. But I feel that even if Amorim win or lose, he's still got time in that chair. But it's more with Ange. He spoke really well after their semi-final win against Bodo Glimt away in Norway, and they conducted themselves in class fashion.
Yeah. I think obviously people maybe expected Spurs to stutter a bit more with Bodo Glimt doing so well, and maybe people thought that they had a genuine chance, but even Spurs with a few injuries in the second leg didn't really seem that phased by Bodo Glimt. So got through with flying colours. Bit of a scare for Man United with Bilbao going 1-0 up, but as soon as they scored, they took it into that tie was in full control for them. So should be an interesting final. We'll see what happens. And then Chelsea, as you said, in the Europa Conference. So, I mean, they'll want to win that. But at the minute, it is looking like it's very likely, right, that they'll get Champions League.
Yeah, I think so. So it's a bit the double whammy. Opens up another European position for another Premier League club. Comments, Jojo is 134th in the Addicts League, which in other words, probably doing far better than me. Probably up there with Reidy, to be fair. Reidy's had a half-decent season, I believe. But you'll next year. I like the optimism early. Cortex, Bruno to KDB. Don't think I'll be around for the leaks. Unfortunately, praying for a start. You think KDB starts today, yeah?
Yes. I'm going to say yes. Haaland, does he get minutes? You would say yes, but does he start or does he come on? That's another thing. But you'd expect KDB. I mean, it's the last season for him at Manchester City. He's been doing great lately. Looks pretty fit and so on. Obviously, next week may be a different story in terms of the Bournemouth fixture because they do have the cup final coming up. So we'll see what happens in that. But Cortex, let us know. Are you thinking of captaining KDB or what's the situation?
Yes. Be intrigued to see what Cortex reckons of that. Okay, fixtures, which is quite an important aspect. One standout fixture and 5 on each day.
Yeah. There we go. It's split, isn't it? I mean, 5 each day. We've not seen much of that lately. I mean, it's been a little bit kind of drib and drab. A lot more games, say, on the Sunday. Obviously, we've got a cracker of a Sunday, but it's nice to see we've got more games than we had last week. 4 Premier League games we had last week. 1 early kickoff, 2 3 p.m, and then the late kickoff for you boys, Arsenal. I mean, it was probably a really, really drab Saturday as Saturdays go for football in the Premier League. But this week, much, much better. We've obviously got City. We've got Brentford as well. We all own 1 or 2 assets at least from those teams. Everton, tricky fixture away to Fulham. Bournemouth and Villa. I'd say it's probably a big game, right, Chaza? Villa going for Champions League and Bournemouth kind of hoping to touch a bit of grass on Europe, right?
They are, yeah. That's a good 5:30 slot, to be fair, across all of the different games. Looking at these games, from an assistant manager perspective too, the table bonus opportunities are only from managers who are already relegated.
Yes. Makes it difficult this week, Chaza, right? What do you do? Do you play it safe? Do you go for... I mean, like, I tell you what, let's go back to the drawing board. What's the standout fixture? I mean, I don't even need to think about this for me. There's a standout fixture straight away, but, you take it away first. What's the fixture for you?
I think because they're more intrigued by any possible early leaks or the team sheet, Southampton, Manchester City.
Oh, okay. So that from an FPL point of view?
From an FPL point of view, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Some big ones, but I think that's probably the key.
Yeah. For me, I think it's definitely the Newcastle-Chelsea game. The fact that that's at 12 o'clock as well. I mean, when's the last time we had a 12 o'clock Gandhi game on a Sunday? It's normally 12:30 on a Saturday, right? So, the fact that that's at 12 o'clock tomorrow, I love that. Absolutely love an early kickoff on a Sunday, even better, considering we don't have one today. And I think that for both teams is massive because, you look at that game and you see that if it ends a draw, both end up on 64 points. You've got Forest, who play Leicester. If they pick up 3 points, Forest a level on point. Then with Newcastle and Chelsea, albeit the goal difference is not as good. Villa are on 60 points. If they go and beat Bournemouth, they're on 63, a point behind. So it really, really sort of makes a big difference in terms of those Champions League places and the teams fighting for it. So for me, I think that the Newcastle-Chelsea game before Forest play, I mean, albeit it's after Villa, so I guess if Villa win, the pressure's then on even more. And if that ends up a draw, Forest kind of got the opportunity then to then gain again. So that's the pick for me, mate. I've got no Chelsea players. I sold Isak. I might be selling Murphy. So, I mean, FPL-wise, that game doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, kind of nothing, indeed. So, on the fixtures, and I think what we've also noticed about this week is that a lot of sides are sort of playing against near each other on the league table as things stand, which results in a lack of table bonus opportunities. What have we learned from waiting until now using the assistant manager chip versus having used it immediately at the earliest opportunity from your game week 24, 27, or even just a smidge after that? What are some of the key lessons, do you believe, as a fantasy manager we've taken from that?
Well, key lesson really is you can't hold your chips for too long. Obviously, more notably, the AM chip has been one of those really where, because what people thought or hoped would be a double in 36, the reschedule of the Villa games and so on based on Europe, obviously them going out in the Champions League didn't help in that aspect. So it's left people with, as you alluded to before, really difficult AM week if you're going to kick it off. Well, say if you're going to kick it off this week, you have to kick it off this week because you've only got 3 games left. So really difficult in the sense that there's nothing wrong in playing a chip if you think it's the right time. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. If you think that it's the best age. I mean, we've looked, for example, game week 24, game week 25, we had doubles, double game week 33, those sort of times in the season. So I would say, yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely come to a point where if you've got that chip left, more so than the triple captain, more so than the bench boost, really, really tricky at this point, mate.
To complement what you're saying too, even if you had all the chips left, if you had to play one, what would it be? Because you'd sort of think in previous terms it could be like wildcard or bench boost or even a free hit. But I genuinely believe of all the chips, and you've somehow accumulated all your transfers, use all 5, because that's pretty much a mini wildcard, half your side, plus activate the assistant manager chip because you're only using one chip and that's the AM. So that would give you a good end to the season, I believe, despite having for some managers who've not done any movements to their own side. I just think that's quite powerful doing the 5 moves and then activating the assistant manager chip, because it's another outlay in trying to get more points for your team.
Yeah, it is true, but I think not everyone's in that same position, based on what you've done previously or based on your chip strategy. What you've done earlier on, maybe that's then led you into a position where, all right, well, actually, I've not got 5 frees now. I've only got 2 frees, or this player is more appealing this week because of the fixture. I want to use a transfer on them and so on. I mean, obviously, we know this week's a freebie for the people who are on AM, so you don't have to use a transfer for them. But when it gets to game week 37, 38, more so the last game of the season, there's going to be a lot more temptation then, depending where you are in mini leagues or rank and so on, to kind of try and catch up on that last day and maybe take a hit and so on. So if you have got an AM active, you're then going to be conscious of that, going, well, actually, I want to change AM, but I also want to go for this guy. So it's a real sticky conundrum to be in. But if you are fortunate enough to be in a position like that, Chaz, as you said, where you've got abundance of transfers left towards the end of the season, then what more can I say? I mean, that's just great planning.
It is. Yeah, so I had something I was just about to say, but I completely lost track of it. Rolling transfers at this time of the season. Do you feel that it's been a deterred importance in rolling them now? Like, you just feel that there's not much need to because you really want to attack the fixtures?
When you say rolling, do you mean if you've got 1 per week, or like what?
Yeah,
in that respect,
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yes and no, I guess. I guess one thing to say is, and I know it's a boring sort of phrase to use, is it's team dependent. We talked about before about popular forwards. You said, we mentioned Wissa, Wood, players like that. So if you haven't got these sort of players in your team, you're going to kind of, you're going to really basically be like, oh, well, I need to get these guys, because if I don't, he's going to be very highly owned, or, my mini league rival maybe owns them. But in terms of big news, FPL Cortex has just highlighted, and I've just seen on FPL newsletter, Lazy FPL, Haaland starts.
Does it tempt you?
It does. It does a little bit. I'm not going to lie, but I'm in it. I guess, I don't know. Do we skip straight to our teams? We've got about roughly 20 odd minutes left.
I've missed anything.
No. I think we were just talking really about kind of the chip strategies and so on. But you've got a chip left, and no better time to kind of segue to go into that now, mate, and have a look. Sure. Have you got a rough idea of who you want to use the AM?
Yeah, I know who I'm going to bring in. And I'll tell you what's good is that, having seen like a couple of mates in my mini league going for certain players, now is the right time to just go different, because you're spoiled for choice, especially from a forwards per se. So I've got an idea in terms of who I want to bring in. Probably, I don't think it's a top option for me, but assistant manager perspective, or from a forward getting transferred in.
How many transfers have you got, Chaza? Freeze?
1.
Oh, just 1, and you need AM as well. What are we not revealing this week, or are we keeping?
We are. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We are. Oh, okay. Do you want me?
If I'm being honest, I know usually most weeks I tend to spend less time. I just go through my team and off to the next person. But I believe not by too much. I may need a couple more minutes than per usual. Okay. I'm going to offer it to you. You can say no. Would you like to reveal your side first?
Yeah, I'll get my team. I'll bring my team up, mate, and we can go from there. But I was just more so time conscious for you, because you're using a chip, and I didn't want to, the deadline to pass. All of a sudden, you're going, oh, I didn't activate it. You know what I mean? So, no, mate. My team should be there for you to stick on the screen.
Cool.
As it stands, no moves made at the moment. Obviously, we've just had the Haaland news. 1 free transfer and 4.8 in the bank.
Ooh, that's
so
good.
A nice chunk of change in the bank. Obviously, 1 free. There are different moves I could make. I mean, I can't, unfortunately, do Marmoush straight to Haaland. Otherwise, that would be very tempting. I can not do Watkins straight to Haaland either. So that's another one that's out of the equation. One thing
What
I'm just going to...
Rodgers to Kevin De Bruyne. Do you have enough?
Well, it wouldn't be Rodgers that I would use this week just because Villa have 2 decent fixtures. Chelsea's fixtures, very difficult towards the end of the season. So if I'm going to sell anyone, it is going to be Jacob Murphy, and I would bring in KDB. Now, the only question about that, now that doesn't involve a hit for one, so that's a great move. Go straight for De Bruyne, no issues and so on. Let's have a look. 1 second. Let's have a look.
Screams in the background, and you bringing in De Bruyne.
Yeah, I've lost myself for a bit. I'm going, whoa, what's going on? Yeah, so no hit. I can bring De Bruyne in straight off. That was what I was going to say. Sorry, is De Bruyne starting? We've had the news about Haaland starting, but not De Bruyne. So I need to know that before I make this move. Ideally, you know what I mean. And that's the issue I've got at the moment. I can't make that transfer unless I know for sure that De Bruyne is starting. There is another option to kind of spice things up a little bit, though, Chaza. And that option is I can do this. Now, this does involve a hit. So who do you think the 2 players I can bring in?
You're going De Bruyne and...
Oh, no, my bad. Let me just check. Let me just see. Yes, the 2 players I can bring in are De Bruyne.
Well, you can bring in Haaland.
I certainly can bring in Haaland.
So, you can do it, though.
No, that is for a -4. I do keep Murphy, who I don't really want to keep. I get rid of Salah, who I don't really want to get rid of. And I feel like that is a bit too probably risky or too much. But it is tempting. It is tempting, right? What would you say in regards to which is the best option? Option 1, option 2?
I think so. You still have City coverage up front. If it's just Murphy to De Bruyne as a free transfer, I'd do it. I think that's probably more sensible. And you could just bench Morgan Rodgers at 7 in attack is instrumental.
Yeah. I have got another conundrum also. Let me just unshare that screen. And let me just share this screen instead. So this is the other, say, conundrum or option, whatever you want to call it. Now, this is my team for Gameweek 36. That's with the De Bruyne move, right? Now, I have got bench boost left, right? So I could play bench boost this week. Obviously, it's 2 Everton players away to Fulham, which isn't ideal, isn't really great. They couldn't, keep it clean against Ipswich at home last week. I've also got Jurriën Timber against Liverpool. So if I was to bench boost, I would be looking at bringing someone like Ola Aina, maybe a Collins for Brentford, probably Aina, I would say. So it would say would be a better because I can afford him. And that would be the bench boost for this week. Or I don't do that. I keep Timber. I make the De Bruyne move, as I said, as the 1 free. And next week, my 1 free is Cucurella against Manchester United. I would have Williams on the bench because obviously Everton play Southampton at home, which is a better fixture. The last home game for them at Goodison Park. I've got Henderson at home to Wolves, Mateta, Munoz. However, the only caveat to this is Crystal Palace play Manchester City in the FA Cup final on Saturday. And then they play the Premier League fixture against Wolves
on Tuesday night.
See if I can get the fixtures on Tuesday night. Now, that is... the fixtures are better than this in 37. Bench boost is probably better. I can bring in Cucurella, Friday night game. Chelsea pushing for Champions League. Man United may rest some players. However, the risk is there, obviously, with the Palace players and what the after effects are of the cup final, whether someone picks up an injury, whether they're tired, whatever it might be. In your opinion, Chaza, which week do you think is the best bench boost week?
I reckon the fixtures are more favourable in 37. I think because if you're still with the double game week players from a few weeks ago, all those such sides, such as Palace and Man City, they're all at home on the same week, or they're all away at the same week. So you kind of want to back for home fixtures nonetheless. I believe it's 37.
37.
Yeah.
And it doesn't involve a hit.
Yeah.
This week, because the hit would be basically to get a better bench boost this week. But obviously Everton are away against Fulham. I probably do agree. What it does do, it does bring us back to this week very quickly. And what it does tell me is that I could I still? De Bruyne, Marmoush? No, I don't think. I think I'm just going to have to accept that Haaland isn't an option, aren't I?
Yeah. I
think taking Salah out definitely isn't the right thing. And I think De Bruyne in probably is. Now, from what Kieran said, FPL Discomfort, he said that apparently Haaland and KDB both start, according to Lazy FPL. So if that is the case, which it seems it is, I think Murphy to De Bruyne looks like it's the move.
I can just do it. Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. There we go. Now, even more interesting than that, De Bruyne starts, Marmoush doesn't. Just one sec. Sorry, Chaza. I don't know if you can hear some feedback coming through.
No, that's fine.
One sec. But yeah, that's where I'm at. If you want to get your team up, mate, give me 2 seconds. I'll be back in just a moment.
That's fine. All good. Yeah, you're not a problem at all. Right. So, to you guys, sounds like Marmoush may not be starting. Whew. I did think about getting rid of Mateta all week. Community, chuck in your comments. Right, I'm going to figure something out because I need to go to the transfers. How would I go? Oh, I'm pushing it. If I went Cunha, just because why not? Yeah, all right. So that's enough for Nuno. I mean, we could be onto something. What's how many transfers out has Marmoush made? How are we doing, team? Thank you very much for tuning in. This is procrastination at its finest. Southampton. Don't think he's going to start. He's probably going to come off a bench too. No Marmoush. Looks like there's a bit of a twist to the tail. I don't think there's much Savinho news. Just answer this question. Cat Wood, 40 behind's a leader. Captain Chris Wood, simple as that. Now, because Marmoush is not starting, I did intend to do Mateta out all week. Part of me also thought rolling the transfer, but what's the importance in rolling a transfer at this stage of the season? So, wildcard active discomfort, very nice. 3 Everton players, Davis on the bench for bench boost next week. I like it. Ipswich are away at Leicester too. Not a bad fixture. Could potentially get something. He may have got a return early in the season against them. Reidy, right, welcome back. Now, we've heard that Marmoush isn't starting, so that's put a bit of a twist to it all.
I'm back, mate. Sorry. It's all going on. So, water fights, all sorts.
Water fight. This is also a fight with what to do. So, because one of my friends gone Thomas Frank, Wissa in the squad. So I'm going to go complete rogue.
Yeah.
Cunha's yo.
So Marmoush doesn't start, right?
No.
Wow. I mean, for the -4, the Haaland and De Bruyne for Salah and Marmoush before. What were you thinking of that now, Chaza?
You might have to U-turn. 1.1. I'm going to bring him in. Nuno. And you don't understand.
Nuno. Oh, Nuno. Interesting. Okay.
Locks in, confirm, and play the morning chip. We're on. That's our team.
We're in. We're on.
Yeah. So Cunha's come in. I think how I kind of seen it, and I'll get back to you, Reidy, because you got 10 minutes to go and sort your transfer out. I want to try and cover each game as much as I possibly can. Like, all really good fixtures. Brentford, Forest, Wolves got a good fixture. In fact, Palace away at Spurs is actually pretty good in itself too. And Villa, so. Captain, hang on. We're making a late charge.
Oh.
Boomo.
Oh,
captain.
Very popular captain I've seen this week. People are all going for Mbumo, yeah, which is huge.
Yep. So that's pretty much my side. Reidy, I'm happy to go back to you.
I don't know whether to just go De Bruyne and keep Marmoush anyway. Oh God, this is such a tricky position to be. I know. I don't want to take a hit this week. Jesus Christ. Oh, is there a world? Oh God, let me see if I can afford this. I don't think I can. I was going to say, is there a world where I take out Murphy, Watkins, Marmoush, Haaland? Can I afford Wissa and De Bruyne? It's going to be a no. No, definitely not. Oh, I don't know what to do, Chaza.
Oh, a bit difficult, isn't it?
Taking out Salah at this point in the season for De Bruyne, is it a good idea? Given that Salah plays Brighton next week.
That's a good fixture for him.
And City are at home to Bournemouth. However, similar to Palace, it's after the FA Cup final. City kind of have Champions League wrapped up, I would say. Third place, 64. Obviously, if they beat Southampton today, puts them joint second on points with Arsenal. Oh, Chaza, I really don't know what to do. I'm stuck, mate. I'm stuck. Anyone in the chat, if anyone's obviously still watching in a minute,
yeah.
Any suggestions? Can you help me out? Do I just make my bed, like make peace with it, and just go De Bruyne for Murphy? No hit. Yeah, and I need some help here because taking out Mo Salah today to facilitate Haaland seems a bit crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Oh God, I'm gonna do. Let me have a look. If I'm bench boosting next week, let me just work this out, Chaza.
All good. 8 minutes till the deadline. Just
Marmoush out. Let's see. Haaland in. Mo Salah out. De Bruyne in.
That's huge. How Marmoush is not starting. That's big.
If I do Haaland and De Bruyne today, it means I have no Liverpool left in my team, which is mental. I need to put Nico Williams in, Guardiola in. And then next week for 37, I would have. Let me have a look. Let me just see. Okay. I would have no Salah. I would have Jacob Murphy against Arsenal. So basically, I'm keeping Jacob Murphy, even though I don't want to keep hold of him. He has 2 difficult fixtures. I'd say those moves. And next week, really do KDB to Palmer and cap him. KDB for 1 week? What?
Jeez.
Oh my God. That's mental. I can't afford Murphy to anyone. Like basically, if I sell Murphy next week, I would have 6.4 in the bank. And in terms of fixtures for 37, they're not great. really. They're not great. Oh, Chaza, I think I'm just gonna have to make my bed and lie in it. I'm gonna have to just go Murphy to KDB and keep Marmoush, right?
Yeah.
You think?
A lot of people are taking out Marmoush now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but who else are they taking? Who else are they doing? Like taking out to afford him, to afford Haaland?
Okay.
Savio, Foden, Marmoush, Doku. But imagine Marmoush comes on and gets 2. Like, you took him out. Wow. I'm scared, man. Salah's going for records. He's got Brighton. He's got Arsenal, Brighton, Palace. I'm going to be sensible. I took a big hit last week and it didn't pay off. So I think I'm going to go with just De Bruyne for Murphy and stick to the plan. Sound good, Chaza?
Sounds good. No, I like it. It's good access to a City premium player too.
And are we saying Haaland gets the full 90 or do we think?
Oh, surely not. Probably 65 at best.
60, 65 maybe? All
right, I got a late question. Raya or Areola?
Raya or Areola? I would say Areola.
Yeah. I don't like fielding the keeper and having a defender the same team, one benching, one on field. So, yeah, I'm going Areola.
Say Areola. I mean, either aren't great, but I would say Areola. Yeah. So I need to decide to make this move pretty quickly. And I need to decide who to captain also.
I don't reckon many people will be going for Salah now.
Hey?
I don't reckon many people will cap Salah. Is that fair?
Yeah, probably.
Right. Here's another one. Start one between Munoz, Kirkez, Ait-Nouri, have Henderson in goal. I like the Ait-Nouri shout. Jeez, that's hard.
That's very difficult. That's difficult.
I
would say Ait-Nouri. Yeah, I was going to say Ait-Nouri. Maybe he's been doing well lately. He's looked really attacking. Let's have a look. Anyone go for Haaland? Oh, I've seen -12. Someone's not got Salah. They've got De Bruyne, Haaland, Guardiola, Cunha, Ait-Nouri. Wow. That's huge. That is huge. I've got 3 minutes to go, Chaza. 3 free transfers. 18. Oh, God. I'm just keeping an eye on the timeline. It's chaos. It's absolute chaos. Isak to Haaland and triple captain. Oh, imagine. Who's getting Haaland then? Oh, my word. Don't care about Haaland, Marmoush. And then basically, Marmoush isn't starting.
The way I see it with my side, unless it's from a managerial fund chasing table bonus, I don't see myself making the transfer next week. Everyone has fantastic fixtures, majority being at home. Salah away at Brighton. That's it.
Salah away at Brighton. I mean, captain next week is pretty tricky.
Well, yeah, it is too.
It is pretty tricky. De Bruyne, Haaland, Murphy. I've got an idea. What about this? I'm going to have to be super quick. Oh my word. I'm going to have to be like really quick. De Bruyne, Haaland for Salah, Marmoush. Oh shit, it's 29. Shit. And Alanga.
Should be a fun afternoon of football. And tomorrow.
It's done.
Nice one. Nice one indeed.
Is your half past yet? Deadline gone?
Seconds away. Well, that was a fun deadline stream. Probably the last one for the season too. Because are you? Yeah, you're not going to that meetup in Gameweek 38, aren't you?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Do you want to know what I did, Chaza?
What'd you do?
I lost the plot. That's what I did, mate.
Okay. What? Not Murphy to De Bruyne?
Murphy, Salah, Marmoush out. De Bruyne, Elanga, Haaland in. Haaland captain. Let's go!
I like it.
Let's go. It does mean a -8. I've done it again. Probably going to end up regretting it, but it's the end of the season. Let's have some fun. Let's go for it.
Yeah, geez. Well, Discomfort saying come to a meetup, so he'll buy you lunch and drink. That's actually not a bad deal, to be fair.
Yeah, for you, mate. But
well, yeah, I'll be there.
If Kieran, what you call it, wants to pay for about roughly £100 train ticket and lunch and drinks, mate, you know, I don't feel his bank balance is going to hate him. But yeah, I mean, I'm hopefully, as I say, going to be there for Fest if I end up coming for that. So, you know, I'm sure there'll be a good turnout for that one. But yeah, I can't believe I've just done that. I mean, De Bruyne, Haaland, Elanga in for Murphy, Salah, Marmoush.
Makes it intriguing. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing, mate. Well, that's a deadline stream for you. And obviously, good luck to everyone this week. I mean, I feel like that bench boost. There we go. And here we go. Yeah. I feel like now I should have played that bench boost after all. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. If Haaland goes new,
he's Reidy, you're copying it unwarranted at the moment.
Cheering for Reidy's downfall. If Haaland scores 5 today, that's it. My head's gonna go. It'd be unbelievable. But you know, we will see what happens. But yeah, boys, that's me done. I'm gonna have to check out.
I got to check out as well.
The missus needs me. The kids need me.
No worries.
We want to enjoy our Saturdays, I suppose. But yeah, been great as always, Chaza.
Mate, it's been a pleasure as per usual. Indeed. We'll leave it as that. Thanks to those for tuning in. And we'll catch you for Gameweek 37. We may have to do it on a Thursday. If that's all right with you, Reidy, if you're around.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I'm sure we can squeeze that one in. And yeah, look forward to it.
Beautiful. No worries. All right. Till next time, guys. Cheers. Ta.
Cheers.